Have you ever pondered over what would occur if just one country held dominion over our world? Imagine a world where the hypothetical becomes reality, where all nations bow to a single flag, and the globe is governed by one set of laws. Welcome to our exploration of this thought-provoking scenario. This notion, as far out as it may seem, isn't as alien as you might think. History is replete with empires and kingdoms that have aspired to global dominion. From the Roman Empire to the British Empire, we've seen large swaths of the world ruled by a single entity. But the world as a whole under the reign of one nation, that's a concept we've yet to witness. As we traverse this uncharted territory, we'll be dissecting the potential impacts of such a world order, peeling back the layers of this geopolitical onion, if you will. We'll be delving into the political, economic, and social implications of this hypothetical scenario. On the political front, we'll explore how a single governing body might affect global stability, international relations, and the concept of democracy itself. Would this lead to a more peaceful world or incite rebellion and resistance? Economically, we'll consider how this could shape global commerce, wealth distribution, and economic inequality. Would one nation's economic policies be beneficial or detrimental to the world's diverse economies? Socially, we'll delve into how this might influence cultural diversity, human rights, and global unity. Would a global culture emerge, or would local cultures be diminished? These are weighty questions, and we don't claim to have all the answers, but we do promise an intriguing exploration of this thought experiment, one that might just get your mental gears turning in new directions. In the end, it's not about reaching a definitive conclusion, but rather about sparking a conversation, challenging our perceptions, and questioning our understanding of the world as we know it. Now let's delve into the political implications of this scenario. Imagine a single government, a single leader, and a single set of laws for the entire planet. This is a world where one country holds the reins of power, shaping the political landscape in a way that has never been experienced before. The potential impacts of such a scenario are vast and complex, ranging from the establishment of a power monopoly to the potential for unchecked abuse of power. So let's delve into these possibilities. Envision a monopoly of power. With one country governing the world, there would be no rival nations to challenge its authority or balance its influence. This could lead to a stagnation in political development, as the single ruling entity may not feel the need to innovate or improve. Without competition or external checks and balances, complacency could potentially set in, leading to a decline in the quality of governance. Now let's consider the potential for abuse of power. In a world ruled by one country, the potential for misuse of power is significantly amplified. With no opposition or threat of retaliation from other countries, the ruling entity might be tempted to exploit its position. This could lead to nepotism, corruption, and even totalitarianism, as there would be little to stop the ruling country from imposing its will on the global populace. Finally, imagine a world without political diversity. Today, we see a wide range of political systems, ideologies, and policies across different nations. This diversity breeds innovation, fosters competition, and leads to the development of better governance models. But in a world ruled by one country, this political diversity would be lost. One set of laws, one ideology, one way of life would be imposed on all. This could lead to a stagnation in political thought and a lack of cultural diversity. These are just a few of the potential implications of a world where one country rules all. The complexities of such a scenario are far-reaching and thought-provoking, prompting us to consider the value of our current system of diverse, independent nations. From one government, we transition into the world of economics. Envision a global economy under the control of a single country, with one currency, one market, and one economic policy. Imagine the world as a vast chessboard with all the pieces moved by a single player. Fascinating, isn't it? But let's delve into the complexities of this scenario. First, let's consider economic inequality. In our current world, countries have varying wealth levels, resources, and socioeconomic structures. If one country controlled the world, it might lead to a magnification of existing wealth disparities. The ruling country might favor its own territories, leading to uneven development and a potential exacerbation of poverty in less favored regions. Next, think about the Herculean task of managing a global economy. Each region has its unique economic strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. One country's policies might not be universally applicable or beneficial. For instance, an agricultural policy that works wonders in the fertile plains might wreak havoc in the arid desert regions. And then there's the issue of competition, or rather the lack thereof. Competition is the lifeblood of any market. It drives innovation, keeps prices down, and ensures quality. In a world dominated by a single country, there would be a single market with no competition. The lack of competition could lead to stagnation, decreased innovation, and potentially increased prices. One might argue that a global economy under a single country could bring about uniformity and stability. But as we've seen, it could also result in vast disparities, complex management issues, and a lack of market dynamism. It's a double-edged sword, really. This hypothetical scenario gives us a unique perspective to appreciate the diversity and complexity of our world's economic systems. It reminds us that our global economy thrives on competition, diversity, and the unique strengths of different regions. From economics, we move into the realm of society. Picture a world where every person is subject to the same cultural norms, values, and social structures. The social fabric of our planet is a vibrant tapestry of diverse cultures, each with its own unique set of traditions, customs, and values. Now imagine this rich diversity replaced by a single dominant culture. The impact can be profound and far-reaching. Firstly, let's consider the loss of cultural diversity. It's akin to painting over a multicolored mural with a single shade. The unique identities of individual societies could fade away, their languages, traditions, and unique ways of life swallowed up by the dominant culture. A homogeneous world might seem easier to navigate, but it's also less vibrant, less rich, and less interesting. Now, let's ponder the potential for social unrest. In a world ruled by one country, dissatisfaction and resistance are inevitable. People are naturally inclined to protect their cultural heritage, their ways of life, and their freedoms. When these are threatened, resistance will likely follow. History is awash with examples of people standing up against the imposition of foreign cultures and values. In our hypothetical world, these sparks of resistance could ignite widespread social unrest. Finally, let's contemplate the implications for individual freedom and human rights. A single governing entity could potentially lead to the curtailment of personal freedoms and human rights. The freedom to express one's culture, language, and beliefs is an essential part of human existence. In our imagined world, these freedoms might be under threat. Moreover, the concentration of power in one entity could potentially lead to the abuse of power, with few checks and balances to prevent it. In sum, the social consequences of one country ruling the world could be significant. They could range from the loss of cultural diversity and potential social unrest to the curtailment of individual freedom and human rights. But it's not all doom and gloom. Such a scenario also presents opportunities for global unity, increased understanding, and shared progress. With the social consequences considered, it's time to summarize our discussion. We've ventured through the political, economic, and social landscapes of a world ruled by one country. We've explored the hypothetical world order, and it's been quite a journey. Let's take a moment to recap the main points. Politically, we discussed how a single ruling nation could potentially lead to a world government. This could result in global stability, but equally it might provoke widespread dissatisfaction and resistance. The loss of sovereignty could be a bitter pill for many nations to swallow. On the economic front, we considered the potential for a global currency and a unified economic policy. This could streamline trade and minimize currency fluctuations, leading to potentially immense growth. But the downside could be a lack of competition and the risk of a single point of failure in the global economy. The social consequences, too, are vast and varied. A world ruled by one country could lead to a single global culture, potentially eroding the rich tapestry of traditions, languages, and ways of life that make our world so fascinating. On the other hand, it could also mean an end to cultural conflicts and the establishment of universal human rights. In each of these areas, we've seen that the concept of one country ruling the world brings with it both opportunities and challenges. It's a delicate balance, a dance between unity and diversity, between global harmony and the vibrancy of individual cultures. In the end, the notion of one country ruling the world is a thought-provoking scenario, but perhaps the beauty of our world lies in its diversity. The variety of cultures, political systems, and economies is what makes our global community so dynamic and resilient. It's a complex and fascinating topic, one that invites us all to consider the kind of world we want to live in. And with that, we conclude our journey through this hypothetical world order. Remember, the power to shape the future is in our hands. Let's use it wisely.